Time now to head over to the kitchen and check in for the first time with ABC7 Culinary Director Judi Gallagher and find out what she's cooking for us on this Monday. Judi.
Hi there, Scott. Well, I'm making sheet pan chicken. Now, if you haven't seen the magazines and the newspapers this past year, this is all the rage. You know, first we had pressure cookers from our grandmas, and then microwaves came out and people tried it to be faster that way, then slow cookers and slow cooking. Now we're going to sheet pan cooking, and it's really wonderful because you can use almost all the ingredients in one pan. We're going to brine the chicken legs, however. That's why I have my gloves on overnight. What you do is you add 4 cups of water. Usually what I do is 2 cups of water, 2 cups apple cider, 2 or 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, and about a 1/4 cup of kosher salt. Bring that to a boil. Dissolve the sugar and the salt. Ice it down so it's nice and cold before you put the chicken in, because you don't want to hit the danger zone. And that's what I have right here. So when we go to commercial break, I'm just going to pat the chicken dry, and then I'm going to lay it out on the sheet pan on parchment paper. Wait till you see how easy it is. It's going to be the perfect weeknight supper.
At Tidewell Hospice, we know it's never too late to say thank you to our military veterans. The Tidewell Honors Veterans Program has provided care to more than 13,000 military families since 2008. Tidewell volunteers help honor veterans through special pinning ceremonies that demonstrate our appreciation for the freedom our veterans fought to defend. If you know a veteran who can benefit from end-of-life care, call or visit tidewell.org today. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Loaded with big laughs, colorful characters, and the songs that made the 20s roar, Bullets Over Broadway is bringing musical theater back with a bang. Your attendance is requested at the Players Center for this wild Broadway musical opening February 21st. Call the Players at 365-2494 or visit the website at theplayers.org. This is one Broadway show that is sure to knock 'em dead.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
ABC7, the Suncoast's official Florida lottery station.
In consumer news, Delta Airlines says it lost a major tax break over the discount used by only 13 people. The Atlanta-based company says that's how many customers used its NRA discount. Delta scrapped the offer in the aftermath of the deadly school shooting in Parkland, but the move angered some Republicans in Georgia who took out a fuel exemption for Delta from a tax bill, which means the airline will now have to pay tens of millions of dollars in extra fuel costs. More than a dozen other companies have distanced themselves from the NRA after the shooting. Plus, baby product company Graco is recalling one of its high chairs after 5 children sitting in it tipped over. The high chair was sold exclusively at Walmart stores between October of 2016 and this past December. The children who were hurt in the chair suffered only minor bumps and bruises, but Graco is advising owners to stop using it immediately. Customers can contact the company and get a free repair kit with installation instructions. For the first time in 5 years, Americans used less gas in 2017. A new report from Bloomberg states rising oil prices contributed to the lower demand, and undocumented immigrants started driving less after President Trump took office amid fears of apprehension by immigration officers. However, energy experts predict demand will rise again this year. Back over to the kitchen and check in again with Culinary Director Judi Gallagher with her chicken dish today, right, Judi?
That's right, Scott. So I've taken the chicken that I brined overnight. Remember, it was that brine of water with salt, cider, brown sugar. You don't have to do the cider. And again, like I said, kosher salt. You're going to rinse it and pat it dry. The reason why you rinse it is because that sodium really adheres to the chicken, but wait till you see how it bursts with flavor. So that part's done. Here comes the easy part. First, what we're going to do is I'm going to season the chicken with a little garlic salt and regular salt and pepper. And obviously, we're going to do both sides of the chicken, right? So I've already started on the bottom of the chicken, and I turned it back over to the top. Now I'm going to use Honeycrisp apples. You can use Gala, but I love these Honeycrisp apples. I mean, look at the size of this. I eat one of these in the morning and it takes me an hour all sliced up. So really beautiful over at Yoder's Produce Market. They have a really good price on them and they're almost always available. They're coming out of Washington State and oh man, it's just a burst of juice. So now we're going to take peeled sweet potatoes and basically we're going to intertwine that between the chicken. We don't want to cover the chicken with our sliced Honeycrisp apples. Then what I have are shallots, and what I do is get a medium size and I just cut them into wedges and the shallots will go on next. So let's do that. And then let's take some seasoning. So we have some fresh thyme and some chili flakes. So we're going to sprinkle that. We're going to add some more seasoning into the marinade that I'm going to make in just, more the glaze that I'm going to make in just a minute. Now, the next thing to go on the tray are pecans, but because pecans can burn quicker than the actual chicken legs are going to cook, we're going to add them about 20 minutes after it goes in the oven so it gets that toastiness. So when we come back, you're going to get to see the final dish that we have it. But let's get over here to clarified butter. Clarified butter means that they've taken all the fat and impurities off. So what happens is the foam, when you melt it down, the foam comes up and you skim that off and what you have left is this pure butter. So let's take just a little drizzle of the butter because we're going to use some more in this somewhat of a glaze we're going to make. Now you can buy clarified butter, it's called ghee, at any type of grocery store now, which is great because back in my day in Boston in the restaurants, we had to make our own. Come back, we'll add some mustard and honey and goodness, and we'll be ready to roast up these babies.
I just had a very educational ride with Nina.
Did you learn anything?
Where do I begin? So all this stuff goes into a safety check.
Yep.
It's a long list.
It's important stuff.
Test the smoke detector.
Yep.
Check the breaker box.
Yep.
Meter the GFCIs.
Ground fault circuit interrupters.
Well, I do that.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Nina, you make it look easy.
Thanks, but don't do it yourself.
Who's your guy?
Our accolades are great. Just wait until you see our prices. Rugs as Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
That is a pretty good breakfast You're not even eating?
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Coming up, why the president's son-in-law may be in more hot water in the ongoing Russia investigation. What's next for DACA recipients as today marks the White House's so-called deadline for a change. Why parts of the country hit hard by a powerful nor'easter storm over the weekend may be in for even more stormy weather.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Our top story this half hour, Special Counsel Robert Mueller may be expanding his investigation beyond Russia to alleged attempts to influence peddling from the Middle East. This new headline impacting the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. ABC's Lana Zak has more from Washington.
The president's embattled son-in-law, Jared Kushner, should have had a day focused on peace in the Middle East as the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, visits the White House. Instead, Kushner, who had his temporary top-level security clearance pulled last week, is facing a new headline in the New York Times about possible attempts by officials in the United Arab Emirates to buy political influence by directing money to support Mr. Trump during the presidential campaign. According to the Times, an associate affiliated with the UAE visited the White House repeatedly, meeting with Kushner and former advisor Steve Bannon. And there are new reports surfacing about the Kushner family's real estate company seeking funding from the nation of Qatar, which did not materialize. That's controversial because the Trump administration took an unexpected firm stance against Qatar in a dispute with Saudi Arabia.
Well, if it's true, it's damning. If it's true, Jared Kushner has to go.
All of this leading to new questions about the scope of the special counsel investigation. The president continues to sow doubts about the many investigations into Russian influence, tweeting today, "Why did the Obama administration start an investigation into the Trump campaign with zero proof of wrongdoing long before the election in November? Wanted to discredit so Crooked H would win." The special counsel investigation, of course, wasn't established until after President Trump fired then FBI Director James Comey last May. Lana Zak, ABC News, Washington.
Uncertainty in Washington today. This was the original deadline for the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program. But that deadline has no meaning now because of recent court orders. But for those this program affects, it remains a time of uncertainty.
From the day I started working to, as we speak, present day, I've been giving back.
DACA advocates say many recipients may find themselves in some sort of limbo where renewal applications may not be completed before current protections expire. But White House officials say deporting dreamers will not be a priority. Across the country, at least 9 people are dead and nearly 1 million people are still without power along the eastern seaboard following a powerful nor'easter. That nor'easter is now out to sea, but not before bringing devastation from New England to the mid-Atlantic, and at one point, homes and buildings across parts of the Northeast were completely underwater. The storm also dumped heavy snow from Ohio to New England and into upstate New York, where more than 3 feet of snow was recorded in some areas. The coastal area of Massachusetts also underwater today. Police say they performed more than 250 rescues Friday and Saturday. The governor of Massachusetts says the recovery process will be long, and they are already looking into financial help.
Well, we're obviously going to work closely with the folks here
the mayor's team, and also with our colleagues at MEMA and with the folks at FEMA, and make sure we do all we need to do to keep track of the damage that was done here and determine what we can get the feds to help us with.
Several other states are also dealing with storm damage, including Virginia and even Arkansas. To make matters worse, the National Weather Service in Boston says the next nor'easter could come either Wednesday or Thursday of this week, bringing, again, heavy snow, fierce winds, and high waves to much of southern New England. Happening today here at home, although we've enjoyed some dry weather for weeks now, Sarasota County will host an open house on its floodplain management plan. The county has been working with a consultant since August of 2016 to update the plan according to criteria set by FEMA. The plan assesses the flooding issues here on the Suncoast and then sets goals to make the community more resilient to flooding. You can learn more about the plan during this open house. It starts at 4:30 this afternoon and it happens at Suncoast Technical College in Sarasota. A red flag warning may now be over for the area, but firefighters had a tough time making sure a few small blazes did not spread. Take a look. A fire in Venice burned picnic tables in the boardwalk at Service Club Park on Harbor Drive. Police are now investigating the cause of that fire, and because of it, there is no longer a walkway access for beachgoers at that park. In a separate incident, the Venice and Sarasota County Fire Departments responded to Dartmoor Circle for a fire at a two-story home. First responders blocked off part of the road as they worked to put out the fire. No injuries were reported. And a third incident, an unattended fire pit in Northport burned about 3.5 acres. One home was evacuated when that fire jumped a road. If not contained, it could have threatened several more homes.
The fire moved very quickly up into the trees and across the street, and it was scary. Within minutes of being on the scene, one of the guys in charge said, "Mr. Fuller, you know, your house is going to be safe." Everything right up to the edge of my house burned, and my house didn't, so they did a hell of a job.
In order to stay safe, fire officials say to remember to be vigilant over what you burn. Pay attention to fire restrictions in your area. This is the dry season now. And perfect weather for the first Sunshine Skyway 10K. It was a hit with runners yesterday. Thousands of them experienced a breathtaking sunrise from the top of the bridge in the inaugural race Sunday morning. It was the first run ever held on the bridge since it opened back in 1987 when they had a run to debut the bridge. All proceeds from this race are going to the Armed Forces Families Foundation. Spectacular view, I'm sure. When you're not driving over the bridge, you know, you kind of look, but you're kind of looking straight ahead.
Sure.
But to run over it must have been really cool.
I'm guessing there are a lot of sore legs today.
Yes, yeah, I would imagine.
That's a steep grade, you
Yeah.
know, for us Floridians, you know, that's something else. But yeah, I can only imagine what that must have looked like up at the top. Beautiful. And the weather, perfect for that. Absolutely perfect. We have, again today, a lot of sunshine out there, beautiful weather. A Lakewood Ranch webcam put into motion shows, you know, I think exactly what you'll see for the remainder of the afternoon. That is some pretty clear skies and some pretty quiet conditions. That will be changing as we head into Wednesday morning, though, as an approaching front, which will just basically stall out over us, will lead to some, well, changing weather. We'll be discussing that in a few minutes. Titan radar quiet right now. We're looking at some cloud cover, occasionally maybe moving in, high thin clouds, nothing that would produce any rainfall, but it could lead to a pretty nice sunset this evening. Check out this temperature trend over the next several days. You get the idea. Accompanying the front that will be moving through will be some chillier temperatures. These are nighttime lows, and you can see that there's a major drop that commences Tuesday into Wednesday, and that is the front that promises to bring us, that's many changes actually. That's only one of them, the temperature change that you see there. We'll talk about the others coming up in a few. 72 our daytime high, or will be our temperature at 3 o'clock. Our daytime high probably around 73 or so. Taking a look at the evening, nice, pleasant, everything looks good for an absolutely outstanding evening. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. Developing overnight in Northport, police say a canine with the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office helped track down a stabbing suspect. Police were called to San Jacinto Avenue around 10 o'clock last night for a domestic dispute. Police say a woman was stabbed, but her injuries do not appear to be life-threatening. The suspect remains in custody today. Fruitville Road shut down last night after a three-car crash. It happened around 7:30 last night at Fruitville and McIntosh. Troopers say the driver of a Kia turned into the path of an oncoming pickup truck. Those two vehicles collided, and then the truck spun and hit another vehicle on Fruitville. The 19-year-old driver of the pickup suffered critical injuries in the wreck. The driver of the third vehicle was seriously injured, and charges are pending in this crash. Troopers also investigating a deadly crash in Manatee County. A bicyclist was hit and killed on US 41 at 49th Avenue Drive West last night. Troopers say a car was heading north on 41 when a man rode his bike directly into the path of that oncoming car. The 47-year-old man was taken to Blake Medical Center, where he later died. Troopers are still trying to notify his relatives and have not released the victim's name. Tomorrow, the Florida Highway Patrol is holding a Stay at the Scene press conference. In 2017, there were more than 98,000 hit-and-run crashes across Florida. The campaign tries to educate drivers so they know their responsibilities if they decide to leave the scene of a crash. FHP says to remember you can always dial star FHP or star 347 to report a hit-and-run or an aggressive driver. One species of shark regularly seen off the coast of Florida is now migrating north and to colder waters. The black-tipped sharks will stay in the Gulf throughout the summer, swimming away from the shore to colder waters as the temperatures grow warmer. Beachgoers will likely see more black-tipped sharks off the east coast of Florida because the continental shelf is closer to the shoreline.
There's lots of room for the sharks to do their thing and feed on our side, so they're not quite so concentrated close to the beach here.
The black-tipped sharks won't be going anywhere anytime soon here, though. Scientists from Mote Marine Lab say the pregnant females will move into smaller areas of water like Sarasota Bay and will give birth in late spring. Looking ahead, Sarasota County is hoping to hire dozens of people. The county is hosting a job fair tomorrow at Philippi Creek Estate Park. The county is hiring a range of positions, including administrative support, building plans examiners, engineers, management, and interns. That job fair will run from 3 o'clock to 6:30. And our job now is to get back to Judy Gallagher in the kitchen. Judy?
You know, I love this recipe because we're seeing that cool weather that's coming. This is just going to feel like a fall dish. And you can rotate from the apples. You can use lemons. You can use oranges. In fact, I'm going to garnish with orange. But right now, I'm going to take that ghee that we talked about and we spread a little bit on the chicken. And I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of orange blossom honey. And this is a recipe that you can really kind of eyeball depending on what you like. And about the equal amount of a grain mustard. And then we're slowly going to stir in some apple cider vinegar. This is going to give it that tartness, a little sharpness to the edge. Then we're going to do a little more thyme and some crushed chili flakes. And remember, we've seasoned the chicken on both sides with salt, pepper, a little bit of the red pepper flakes, the chili flakes. You can use Moroccan seasonings. I mean, really kind of depends on what you want to do with it. This is going to go in a 425-degree oven anywhere from 35 to 40 minutes. If you're using breasts, they're probably going to cook faster than the legs. You get an internal temperature of 180. And then what I do is it comes out of the oven, I drizzle some more of this delicious mustard, honey, and apple cider vinegar glaze on it. When the chicken goes in the oven, it will go in for about 15 to 20 minutes. Then I'm going to put the pecans on top. And again, the reason is because we don't want it to burn. So let's take this pan over here, right? And what I normally do at home, and this is a great night when you just are not in the mood to make a salad, but you know you need to have something green, you can always saute some spinach, wilt up some arugula, and that can be the base of the dish. And then what we can do is we can just take these melt in your mouth chicken legs because they are truly divine. And we'll do a little apple and a little sweet potato. By all means, butternut squash would be lovely with it as well. And I'll just kind of scatter that around. And then we're going to take a few of the pecans, not too many, but you can see how they've toasted nicely, but they're not dark. And that's what we were looking for. One more drizzle of the sauce and a little on the plate and a little orange so your guests can squeeze that onto it. And you are all set. I'll be back to give Scalzi a taste in just a minute.
My name is Stefan Campagna. We're Ben Gates and Dramus, and here is your law tip of the week. If you've been injured in a car accident, the state of Florida only gives you a specific amount of time to file a claim. So act now, give us a call.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Florida Studio Theater presents Native Gardens. Stately gardens and cultures clash, turning friendly neighbors into feuding adversaries. When a disagreement over a long-standing fence spirals into an all-out comedic battle of taste, privilege, and entitlement, no one comes out smelling like a rose. Critics are calling Native Gardens timeless as well as timely, smart and first-rate. Audience are calling it one of the best. Native Gardens is now playing. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs. And you learned how to not ignore yours. I discovered how to make healthier meals. And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC7, weekdays starting at 5. Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we look at a temperature of 72 here in Sarasota, 71 in Bradenton, 70 in Lakewood Ranch, and I'm thinking that that's probably just about it for today. Winds are going to be shifting to the southwest here pretty soon, and that could kind of moderate daytime high temperatures a little bit, despite the fact that we have all that sunshine out there. South-southeast wind now at about 9. Dew point value is so very low at 41. That is a really comfortable dew point value, and I think that's going to be with us. Really, dew points low like that, probably going to stay with us straight through this work week, that's for sure. 72 at about 3 p.m. after having reached our daytime high of probably around 73. We're at 72 right now. 65 degrees by the time we get to 7 p.m. Temperatures falling off pretty quickly as the sun sets because the dry air just doesn't retain its heat all that well. So we'll get into some temperatures that will be down into the 50s by the time we wake up tomorrow morning. Dry air indicated here on our water vapor imagery, which shows you the swirls and motions in the atmosphere, all colorized in brown or these tan colors. That's dry air. And there's a lot of it across the state of Florida. That's why I don't think we're going to see much in the way of rainfall today. This is kind of a narrow band of dry air that leads back behind it to a little bit more of a moisture convergence, a kind of tongue of deeper moisture. That will be headed our way, but the thing is we'll have a very short period of time to moisten our atmosphere before what's producing all of this cloud cover, that is a cold front, makes its way into our area. So because of that, I don't think we're going to see much in the way of large instabilities with what's coming our way. So severe weather, probably not an issue. Could see a thunderstorm or two, particularly over the marine environment before the front makes it to us. But what I really think is that we're going to see a very lovely sunset tonight. We get these high, thin clouds blowing away from the frontal boundary, moving across the area, while most of the air is dry, so you can see a far distance off into the horizon. And the combination of all of those things, I think, could lead to some beautiful colors in tonight's setting sun. Let's see how it plays out. Frontal boundary back to the west, and its low pressure area already producing some pretty heavy snow showers now closing in on the Chicago area. Later today, there'll be some massive airport delays, I think, at Chicago. As the front progresses toward the east, those airport delays will start to encompass places like Cleveland tomorrow, eventually Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, the New England, Boston airports, New York, LaGuardia, JFK, all in line for some massive airport delays over the course of the next 48 hours or so. So if you're traveling, be aware of that, probably till about Thursday, starting as late as tomorrow afternoon. Frontal boundary approaches for us and triggers off a shower, maybe, or a thunderstorm. Probably best timing of this is probably Wednesday morning into Wednesday early afternoon. Of course, we'll be adjusting that as we go through the next day or so. Sunny and dry today, 2 good rain chances, and then a warmer weekend. The first good rain chance is this front. The second one is still well back to the west. That'll be here on Sunday. So the timing of the storm, as I mentioned, still kind of fine-tuning that. Tune in to Bob at 5 tonight, and he'll have updated computer models with a more refined forecast for that. East wind coming in at about 5 to 10, shifting to the north tonight. Nice day on the waters. Light chop anticipated. And the forecast calls for 73 today as a daytime high, 76 tomorrow. Rain chances increasing as we get into the after dark hours and probably maxing out on Wednesday morning. We'll call it an alert day just because of, the kids going to the school buses and things like that. And then as we head into the next couple of days, our temperatures drop. Look, temperatures at night in the 40s, daytime highs in the 60s, kind of like what we saw over the weekend. And then another rain chance on Sunday. Scott?
Okay, John, thank you. In Health Smart, some good news from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which now says flu season has peaked. The CDC released its weekly numbers on influenza activity across the U.S., and 32 states reported high levels of flu activity for the week ending on February 24th. But 9 states, including Florida, reported low or minimal flu-like illness for that same week. The total number of children who have died from this influenza outbreak since October, it now stands at 114 children. Some people are at risk of catching the virus even if they got a flu shot. So why has this year's vaccine been less effective than previous years? Well, before flu season begins, researchers study the influenza strains circulating in the southern hemisphere, allowing them to identify strains that could show up in North America. But how we manufacture the vaccine might be working against us. You see, the FDA requires vaccine viruses be grown in chicken eggs. But some strains, like this year's H3N2, do not grow well in eggs. Scientists want to create a flu vaccine that lasts a lifetime so they don't have to keep changing the vaccine from year to year. Still to come in your Suncoast News, a rare discovery by a team of researchers at the University of South Florida involving Pablo Picasso. The story when we come back.
So Matt told me to meet him at 7 a.m. sharp right here. It is now 7:01 a.m. You think Matt would leave without me? Hey, is Matt here?
Long gone.
Long gone.
Just missed him.
Just missed him.
All done.
Mr. Sparky guarantees they're on time and the repair is free, so chop chop.
Call 888-8-Sparky.
Matt, you started without me.
I finished without you, too.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Alex Karras Lincoln's 40th anniversary sale. Drive a brand new 2018 Lincoln MKC for $279 per month or the Lincoln MKZ for $299 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, where our mission statement is consistent commitment. Every client, every time. Located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Stephanie Webb. The CDC says flu season is finally peaking, but now the focus is towards allergy season.
We'll tell you how high the pollen count could be here in our area tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast, John.
So we're looking at an area of low pressure developing back to the west that'll eventually bring us better chances of rain showers on Wednesday. We'll talk about that bright and early.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less. and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC 7's own Chef Judi serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Sheet pan chicken. This is
Yeah,
really
right?
tasty.
Really easy cleanup with parchment. So you brine your chicken overnight so you get that real juiciness. And you know
That's
what?
important, right?
It's
The
real.
brining?
I really think it is important. It just makes it so juicy. It's like eating in a brasserie. Then we use clarified butter, honey, apple cider, a few other ingredients. And that went in the oven with apples and sweet potatoes and a beautiful glaze to finish it off.
Roasting is such a beautiful cooking technique.
Isn't it? My
really
favorite.
brings out those flavors. Recipe on our website, mysuncoast.com. Click on the dining link page, and all the video instructions are there. Judi, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Scott?
Thank you both. Finally, a unique find at the University of South Florida in Tampa. Researchers have discovered a long-forgotten audio reel that describes a plan to build a massive Picasso sculpture on the campus. The 44-year-old audio reel was found in the school library's special collection. The plan was for a Norwegian sculptor to create Picasso's bust of a woman. The State Board of Regents approved it on April 9th of 1973, a day after Picasso's death, but they never managed to agree to fund its estimated $10 million budget. That's $10 million from 1973. I mean, that's a lot of money today, but imagine back then. So, yeah, it never got done.
Piece of history there, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe they can still do it at some point. The plans
so.
are,
Be nice
are,
to
are
say,
approved.
right?
Yeah.
That'd be great. Beautiful weather out there today. Of course, we have these big changes coming midweek with another frontal boundary that'll probably drop our temperatures right back down there. First alert weather morning anyway on Wednesday. And Bob will be in, of course, with updated information.
Okay, John, Judi, thank you both. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day. See you again at 5.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
What if you had a medical emergency away from home?
My chest hurts. I can't breathe.
What you need is Mobile Help, America's premier mobile medical alert system. Most systems only work at home, but with Mobile Help, you get help outside the home with coverage nationwide on one of the largest cellular networks at the press of a button. Call the number on your screen for a free full-color brochure. We'll send you everything you need, including this base station, the patented mobile device, and the waterproof pendant and wrist button. You can also add the fall button that automatically detects falls and signals help. Call today and receive a risk-free 30-day trial. There is no equipment to buy and no long-term contract. For a limited time, you will also receive a free emergency key box with your plan purchase. Remember, Mobile Help keeps you safe coast to coast.
Call 1-800-916-8638.
Back over to the kitchen and check in again with Culinary Director Judi Gallagher with her chicken dish today, right, Judi?
That's right, Scott. So I've taken the chicken that I brined overnight. Remember, it was that brine of water with salt, cider, brown sugar. You don't have to do the cider. And again, like I said, kosher salt, you're gonna rinse it and pat it dry. The reason why you rinse it is because that sodium really adheres to the chicken, but wait till you see how it bursts with flavor. So that part's done. Here comes the easy part. First, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna season the chicken with a little garlic salt and regular salt and pepper. And obviously we're gonna do both sides of the chicken, right? So I've already started on the bottom of the chicken, and I turned it back over to the top. Now I'm going to use Honeycrisp apples. You can use Gala, but I love these Honeycrisp apples. I mean, look at the size of this. I eat one of these in the morning and it takes me an hour all sliced up. So really beautiful over at Yoder's Produce Market. They have a really good price on them and they're almost always available. They're coming out of Washington State and oh man, it's just a burst of juice. So now we're going to take peeled sweet potatoes and basically we're going to intertwine that between the chicken. We don't want to cover the chicken with our sliced Honeycrisp apples. Then what I have are shallots, and what I do is get a medium size and I just cut them into wedges and the shallots will go on next. So let's do that. And then let's take some seasoning. So we have some fresh thyme and some chili flakes. So we're going to sprinkle that. We're going to add some more seasoning into the marinade that I'm going to make in just, more the glaze that I'm going to make in just a minute. Now, the next thing to go on the tray are pecans, but because pecans can burn quicker than the actual chicken legs are going to cook, we're going to add them about 20 minutes after it goes in the oven so it gets that toastiness. So when we come back, you're going to get to see the final dish that we have it. But let's get over here to clarified butter. Clarified butter means that they've taken all the fat and impurities off. So what happens is the foam, when you melt it down, the foam comes up and you skim that off and what you have left is this pure butter. So let's take just a little drizzle of the butter because we're going to use some more in this somewhat of a glaze we're going to make. Now you can buy clarified butter, it's called ghee, at any type of grocery store now, which is great because back in my day in Boston in the restaurants, we had to make our own. Come back, we'll add some mustard and honey and goodness, and we'll be ready to roast up these babies.
And our job now is to get back to Judi Gallagher in the kitchen. Judi?
You know, I love this recipe because we're seeing that cool weather that's coming. This is just going to feel like a fall dish. And you can rotate from the apples. You can use lemons. You can use oranges. In fact, I'm going to garnish with orange. But right now, I'm going to take that ghee that we talked about and we spread a little bit on the chicken. And I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of orange blossom honey. And this is a recipe that you can really kind of eyeball depending on what you like. And about the equal amount of a grain mustard. And then we're slowly going to stir in some apple cider vinegar. This is going to give it that tartness, a little sharpness to the edge. Then we're going to do a little more thyme and some crushed chili flakes. And remember, we've seasoned the chicken on both sides with salt, pepper, a little bit of the the red pepper flakes, the chili flakes. You can use Moroccan seasonings. I mean, it really kind of depends on what you want to do with it. This is going to go in a 425-degree oven, anywhere from 35 to 40 minutes. If you're using breasts, they're probably going to cook faster than the legs. You get an internal temperature of 180. And then what I do is it comes out of the oven, I drizzle some more of this delicious mustard, honey, and apple cider vinegar glaze on it. When the chicken goes in the oven, it will go in for about 15 to 20 minutes. Then I'm going to put the pecans on top. And again, the reason is because we don't want it to burn. So let's take this pan over here, right? And what I normally do at home, and this is a great night when you just are not in the mood to make a salad, but you know you need to have something green, you can always saute some spinach, wilt up some arugula, and that can be the base of the dish. And then what we can do is we can just take these melt in your mouth chicken legs because they are truly divine. And we'll do a little apple and a little sweet potato. by all means, butternut squash would be lovely with it as well. And I'll just kind of scatter that around. And then we're going to take a few of the pecans, not too many, but you can see how they've toasted nicely, but they're not dark. And that's what we were looking for. One more drizzle of the sauce and a little on the plate and a little orange so your guests can squeeze that onto it. And you are all set. I'll be back to give Scalzi a taste in just a minute.
Sheet pan chicken. This is
Yeah,
really
right?
tasty.
Really easy cleanup with parchment. So you brine your chicken overnight so you get that real juiciness. And you know
That's
what?
important, right?
It's
The
real.
brining?
I really think it is important. It just makes it so juicy. It's like eating in a brasserie. Then we use clarified butter, honey, apple cider, a few other ingredients. And that went in the oven with apples and sweet potatoes and a beautiful glaze to finish it off.
Roasting is such a beautiful cooking technique.
Isn't it? My
really
favorite.
brings out those flavors. The recipe on our website, mysuncoast.com. Click on the dining link page and all the video instructions are there. Judy, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.